This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Coming up here on the show, I'm going to preview this Monday Night Football game in Week 12 at Levi's Stadium between the 49ers and the Carolina Panthers. San Francisco in this game, I was shocked when I saw this line. Touchdown favorites, giving 7 points to Carolina, and the over-under is even pretty high, 49.5. Kickoff set for 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 p.m. Pacific at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, and you already know. We'll be live for a watch party right here on the Niners Report, the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. We'll go live for a pregame show. We'll be live during the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat, giveaways. We'll take down some beers, and then after the game, we'll be live and react to everything with our postgame show. My initial thoughts on this matchup. The Carolina Panthers are a feisty team. You might hear Carolina Panthers and say, oh, of late they've sucked. This year they suck. They've won 6 games this season. Dave Canales, really good head coach. Really made a name for himself being Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator a couple of years ago. And while Bryce Young played well at the back half of last year, hasn't really played well this year, Dave Canales, if you get him a quarterback, I think that he can be one of the top coaches in the NFL. When you look at some of the Panthers' numbers, they can't get after the quarterback. Bryce Young has not been good this season. It's pretty wild that they have won 6 games this season. That comes down to high-quality coaching, this team being ready, making some adjustments, and obviously quality coaching, maximizing the current players on this roster. The Niners, huge favorites in this game. I think given what they did against the Cardinals and how well the offense played with Brock Purdy being back, Ricky Pearsall being healthy, George Kittle rounding into form, that went into the Niners being favored by a touchdown in this game. And a big storyline here on Monday night that I'll be watching closely. Can this Niners offense, with what they did against Arizona, continue its momentum? Because I've said this a lot here on the show. This defense is going to struggle. This Niners defense, like Carolina, can't get after the quarterback. So this offense is going to have to carry this squad, and they're going to have to hover around 30 points per game to make up for this defense not being that good. The Panthers thus far this season started off 0-2. And you're thinking, yeah, Panthers, bad football team. They're going to pick in the top 5 in the 2026 draft. They've really turned it around. They lost week 1, 26-10 on the road to the Jags. Week 2, lost to the Cardinals, 27-22. They come home for their home opener, and they dust the Atlanta Falcons. Shutout, 30-0 win. They lose against the Patriots, 42-13. They hold off by 3 against the Dolphins in a game where they came back and had no business winning, 27-24. The Panthers at home beat the Dallas Cowboys, 30-27. Rico Dowdle ran crazy against his former team. Edged the Jets, 13-6. One of the more exciting games of the year. Sarcasm. 40-9 loss against the Buffalo Bills. Beat the Packers at the buzzer on a game-winning field goal, 16-13. Then they come back off of that huge win and lose to the Saints, 17-7. And then they sweep the Falcons and beat Atlanta for a second time this year, 30-27 in overtime. So an up and down, weird year for Carolina. At times, they've looked good. At times, they've looked bad. But when it comes down to it, it's not like they've beaten a bunch of great teams, but they've won 6 games this year. And a lot of people didn't think that they could get to that. And here we are entering week 12. So when I scout Carolina, this is one of the worst pass rushing units in the National Football League, right down there with the Niners. Bryce Young has not been good. But this offense runs through and leans on running back Rico Dowdle, who had a career year last year with Dallas, and this year has been one of the top backs in football. And I'm just telling you right now, I saw what Dave Canales did in 2023 with Baker Mayfield when Baker resurrected his career. If he gets a quality quarterback, this Panthers team in the NFC, given how bad the NFC South is, could be a playoff team before it's said and done, and a playoff team very quickly. And shoot, this year, they're vying to be a playoff team. Some injury news on both sidelines here. For Carolina, wide receiver Xavier Legette, hip injury, questionable. Linebacker Christian Roseboom, hamstring, questionable. Xavier Legette, a big-bodied wide receiver, is expected to play in this game. On the injury front for the Niners, early in the year, this was literally a couple of different pages. As I record this show on Thursday, November 20th, these are the Niners' notable injuries. Tatum Bethune will not play, high ankle sprain. Eddie Pinheiro will not play, hamstring strain, grade 1. Robert Beal, edge rusher, in concussion protocol. I never liked the decision for the Niners to activate him instead of Cleveland Ferrell. We'll see what the Niners do at that edge rusher spot. I would opt with Ferrell because I think he's a better player. Speaking of Eddie Pinheiro, the Niners making a roster move this week. On Wednesday, they did sign kicker Matt Gay. Won a Super Bowl with the Rams back in 2021 and was great that year. He was a Pro Bowler with the Rams as well. Last 2 years with the Colts and with the Commanders, he struggled a little bit. Not on extra points. He's 100% on extra points the last 2 years. But on kicks of 50+, he has missed his mark. This season with Washington, funny enough, he was let go. And then the Commanders signed Jake Moody. 2 of 2 on kicks of 20 to 29 yards. 30 to 39, 2 of 3. 5 of 5 on kicks of 40 to 49 yards. But only 4 of 9 on kicks of 50+. Eddie Pinheiro, 22 for 22 on his field goals this year. Incredibly clutch. All Matt Gay has to do is hold the water until Eddie Pinheiro is able to come back. So who you got in this football game? CAR for Carolina, SF for the 49ers. Get those predictions in right now. Coming up next, we're about to get into the meat and potatoes of our preview. My keys to the game. Top matchups to watch. What the Niners must do to beat Carolina on Monday night. Stay tuned for all of that. But let's first get to our sponsor. Our friends at Harry's, making today's 49ers Report possible. We have a great deal. Check it out for yourself at harrys.com/chat. And for all my fellas out there, when using a razor, does it get dull too fast? Does it irritate your neck? Do razors just cost too much? Like $30 for 8 refills? That is a total scam. When I first started using Harry's razors, I was amazed at how clean of a shave it was. It didn't irritate my neck, and how affordable it was as well. Harry's Plus has an advanced pivoting system to reach every corner of your face, refined blade tech for a closer, smoother shave, and a weighted metal handle for added control and comfort. With Harry's Plus, you get a barbershop quality shave with German engineered blades. Each blade is honed at 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly at the root without tugging. Blade spacing is optimized to glide smoothly and avoid clogging. Drugstore blades clog so fast. The real ones know. Every cartridge includes a lubricating strip with aloe and vitamin E to calm skin while you shave. That's big for me because I do get sensitive when I shave with bad razors, not with Harry's. Harry's owns their own world-class blade factory in Germany. No outsourcing, no middleman. That same facility has been perfecting blade making for over 100 years. So for a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Again, just go to harrys.com/chat. Use the code CHAT to claim this offer. After you make your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them that Chat Sports, the 49ers Report, and Chase Senior sent you. I'll put this link down below in the show notes. Attached to the pinned comment is that link. I had a bunch of people a couple of weeks ago say, Chase, thank you so much for this deal. Hop on it right now. All right, let's get to the back half of our preview here. Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Senior. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Coming up, my keys to the game for this Monday Night Football game between the Niners and the Panthers. I'm going to give you my prediction as well. Top matchups to watch. We'll break that down and what the Niners must do in order to be victorious to move that record to 8-4 on the year. How the Panthers stack up on offense. Carolina, 18-8 points per game. 28th in the NFL. 314.3 yards per game. That's 22nd. 5 yards per play. 26th. Third down conversion rate, 36.9%. That's 24th. Their red zone touchdown scoring rate, 54.2%, 20th in the NFL. On defense, 22.6 points per game allowed, 13th. 325.9 yards per game surrendered, 15th. 5.6 yards per play, that's 23rd. Their third down conversion rate, 43.3%. That's 29th in the NFL. So the Niners going to have an opportunity here to move the chains. And then their red zone touchdown scoring percentage is top 10 as a defense. Number 9 there at 52.9%. As for how the Niners stack up on offense, 15th in points per game at 23.7. 10th in yards per game. They've been moving it at 349.4. 13th in yards per play at 5.5. Third down conversion rate, third best in the NFL at 45.6%. 62.5% is their red zone touchdown scoring rate. That has gotten higher, especially after what the Niners did against the Cardinals last week. And then you look at the defense, 22.9 points per game. That's 15th in the NFL. To be there with all these injuries and young players playing, hat tip to Robert Saleh. 25th in yards per game. That's fine when you're not giving up a lot of points and buckling down in the red area. 25th in yards per play at 5.7. Third down conversion rate, 40.7%. It's 22nd best in the NFL. And their red zone scoring percentage, 16th, 58.9%. So my keys to the game for the Niners to be victorious here, some of my top matchups to watch. I'll tell you this. The pass rushing units for the Niners and the Panthers absolutely stink. If you are somebody who loves watching dominant pass rushes and watching teams hunt and get after the quarterback, this game is not for you. Because these pass rushers have really struggled to get pressure on the opposing QB. The Niners this year, total sacks, they only have 12. It's 32nd in the NFL. Their second best sack producer is Nick Bosa. He hasn't played since week 3. Total pressures, 107. 26th in the NFL. The Niners have 79 hurries. It's 29th in the league. Their pressure rate, dead last at 26.23%. The Panthers' pass rushing stats, not much better. Total sacks, 16th. Total pressures, 142. That ranks 30th. Total hurries, 90. That's 25th. Their pressure rate, just north of 38%. That's second to last in the NFL. So Bryce Young, Brock Purdy, these are numbers that you like to see because that means usually you will have a clean pocket. Another thing with the Niners, intermediate to long passes, since Fred Warner has gotten hurt, they've been one of the worst defenses in the NFL, giving up a lot of explosive plays. Bryce Young hasn't been able to really find it all year long, has an opportunity to find it against the Niners here. Key to the game number 2. This Panthers offense runs through Rico Dowdle. And I was surprised that the Cowboys let Rico Dowdle go. They needed a running back. Now they've replaced him with a running back who has ended up performing pretty well. And I guess it's worked out for both parties. But for Carolina, Rico Dowdle's been awesome. Javonte Williams with Dallas, he's been good. But I think Rico Dowdle's been better. And you look at the rushing yards leaders in 2025, nobody outside of Jonathan Taylor had this list looking like this going into week 12. And with running backs, so much can change year over year, of course. Now, Jonathan Taylor is leading the NFL in rushing yards at 1,139. James Cook is a stellar back. I didn't expect him to be number 2 this year, 968. Devon Achane, 900 yards. He's number 3. Rico Dowdle, 4th leading rusher in the NFL with 833 rushing yards this season. And then Javonte Williams there at 809, the aforementioned Javonte Williams of the Dallas Cowboys. Rico this year has had some splash games. For the most part, this Niners rushing defense has improved from last year. Against the Rams, they were not good. And without Mykel Williams, I think that's an area where they could continue to struggle because Mykel Williams is such an excellent run defender. But Dowdle this year, If you don't bring it as far as your rush defense, he'll make you pay. Back on October 5th against Miami, 23 totes for 206 yards, 9 yards per carry. Against the Cowboys, a little over a month ago, 30 carries for a $183, 6.1 yards per carry. Against the Packers, back a couple of weeks ago, earlier this month, 25 carries, 130 yards, and 5.2 yards per carry. That is a big reason why the Panthers have been able to find success with what they're doing in the ground game. They've had to rely on running the football because Bryce Young has been not good this year. Not going to say terrible, just hasn't been that good. He's completing under 63% of his passes. He's thrown for less than 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 picks. He just looks small, can't really drive the ball, doesn't move around, doesn't see the field all that well. Now, what Niners defense are we going to get? This is a Niners defense that did give up 488 yards last week to Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals, 6.9 yards per play. Jacoby Brissett dropped back 57 times. The Niners only pressured him 13 times, did not have a single sack. They gave up 452 passing yards. The bright spot of that Niners performance, the improvements against the run, which in the week prior against the Rams, it killed them because the Rams were able to control the game. That's what happens when you're able to run the ball successfully and on defense when you can't stop the run. So 14 carries for 36 yards, 2.6 yards per pop. I imagine the Niners are going to sell out in trying to stop Rico Dowdle, knowing they can't allow the Panthers to get that ground game going, knowing that Bryce Young throwing it this year has had some issues. Now, this Niners rushing defense all year, yeah, not bad. 13th in yards per rush at 4.1. 12th in rushes per game. So teams are running at a decent amount, 25 running attempts per game. Rushing yards per game, total, 103.8. That's 12th in the NFL. Key to the game number 3. This Niners secondary has to bring it against Ted McMillan because the Carolina Panthers found a guy in Ted McMillan. The rookie first-round pick out of Arizona, 6'4", well over 200 pounds, runs well, can go up and get it, strong arms, long frame, good wingspan, and he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver for this Panthers team for the foreseeable future. If Xavier Legette can get it together, he's been bad for the most part, but played well last week. That is a very physically imposing 1-2 punch-out wide receiver for Carolina. In his rookie season, Ted McMillan, 54 catches, 748 yards, 13.9 yards per catch, 4 receiving touchdowns, 68 yards per game. Something that I'll be watching too in this game, how will Brock Purdy look against Carolina? Because against Arizona, he was efficient. He threw with really good touch. He threw with accuracy. In his patented Brock Purdy way, he was able to layer the football. I thought he moved around pretty well. He threw some balls up for grabs, but for him to have not played since week 4 and to only have 7 incompletions, throw for 200 yards, have a quarterback rating of 133.5, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and 10.5 was the number for the yards per completion, I was very pleased with how Purdy played because he really wasn't that rusty and didn't really have to get his feet wet. I mean, he jumped right in, and on his second drive, he was, 4 of 5 for 68 yards and a 30-yard strike to George Kittle. We saw Brock Purdy coming back, brought about that George Kittle connection. He was dominant in that game, and then Christian McCaffrey running it, receiving it, he was also really good. I do have a prediction for this Panthers game. Breakout performer on Monday Night Football, it's going to be Ricky Pearsall, I think. Ricky Pearsall didn't put up a lot of numbers against Arizona last week. But if you go back and look at the tape, he got open a lot. And there was some meat left in the bone for this Niners passing game. And at times, even when he was open, the pass rush kind of blew up the play and got to Brock Purdy. But there were times where Ricky Pearsall was able to separate. He was able to win. He was able to run filthier routes, juke out the DBs, and he was open. We have seen that Purdy has had a good connection with Ricky Pearsall. And against this Panther secondary, which is okay, not bad, not great, I think that Pearsall has a big game in primetime on Monday night. And this is an important development for the Niners here over time and what's happened recently. This Niners offensive line has improved. Now, when the Niners offensive line goes up against legitimate defenses and really good edge rushers and fronts, that's when they struggle. When they go up against bad teams, that's when they're able to have their way. But even when they go up against good teams, there are some positive developments here for this Niners offensive line. They have stabilized the left guard position with this veteran tandem after benching Connor Colby. Spencer Burford, Ben Barch have been rotating there at left guard, and they've been playing pretty well. And then another big development here is that Dominic Pooney is healthy and he's playing well. Early in the year, that knee was not right from when he got injured against the Raiders in that preseason game. He struggled mightily. Now that he's gotten healthy, he's strong enough with the anchor. The physicality and the athleticism is back. He's able to get a push, and he looks a lot more like the player who we saw last year, who was one of the top guards in all of football. So predict the score for me. Carolina Panthers, San Francisco 49ers. Always want you to join the conversation down in the comment section. The Niners are 7-point favorites in this football game. And I think this Niners offense continues to hum a little bit with what they did against the Cardinals, with them getting healthier and acclimated with one another, that rapport working a little bit. So give me the Niners 31-20. And I know that from team value, Niners-Panthers doesn't get a lot of people juice as far as this Monday Night Football game, especially with Carolina, smaller market, not a team that has a lot of stars. But as far as the playoff picture goes, this game has a lot of big implications here. The Niners are in that 7 seed at 7-4. Not a lot of breathing room there. And the NFC North, it's a really good competition right now. 3 teams might get in. And if 3 teams get in, 3 teams from the NFC West not going to get in, because you're going to have your divisional winners from the NFC East. It's going to be Philly. And the NFC South, we'll see, between Tampa Bay and Carolina. But you look at where Carolina is. If the Niners lose this game and drop to 7-5, they have an equal record to Carolina, and Carolina would own the tiebreaker. So a big game in the NFC playoff hunt coming up on Monday night. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here for daily and year-round coverage of the San Francisco 49ers. As always, thank you so much for your support, and we'll catch you all soon.